Welcome to our first Directors Roundtable for 2019. Happy New Year, everybody. Tonight, our special guest for our roundtable is Paige Crawford, who's going to fill us in on the State of the City Expo that's coming up.
Yes,
Paige?
next Thursday, so a week from this Thursday on January 24th, we're going to have our State of the City, which is kind of taking on a new format this year. So we'll have our usual presentation at the very beginning, and that's going to be from 5 to 7 at the Fairhope Civic Center. So we'll have a short presentation with the mayor. We've got a video that we'll probably play, and then we're kind of leaving the rest up to the community and the residents to kind of make their way around the room. And if there's individual departments that you have questions for, if you have interests that you may want to bring up with these, all the department heads will be there representing each of their utilities, public works, planning and zoning and building. We've got Parks and Rec. We even have the Haven that's going to be coming along. We may even have some pet adoption happening that night as well. So we've got the library that's going to be represented. So we've got some exciting things going on for that. We're going to be doing some giveaways. I know Richard Johnson with the Public Works Department's got some exciting things maybe that sanitation will have that night. I think they've been giving away some bins for a lot of our folks that were really excited about having some recycling containers that the city's actually going to be providing to the community. Do you have anything, Richard, you want to add to that?
She used the words exciting and sanitation together.
And we have exciting sanitation in the city of Fairhope. Free garbage, right?
That's right.
So, yes, we are introducing recycle bins for our recyclers, which will hopefully make that process a lot easier for them. And we will have a way where folks can sign up to get bins delivered to be part of their program as they participate in the city's recycle program.
Yeah. So what will happen is we'll get folks to sign up, and we'll probably deliver them curbside to their residents.
Correct.
And so we know we have a lot of folks that are happy about that. So they'll be getting one green and one blue, I believe, one for paper and cardboard, and then one for hard plastics and aluminum.
Correct.
Is what I have been told by Dale.
Yes.
So hopefully that's correct information. But
What about bottles? Do they go in with what?
Glass, I believe.
We're still asking them to make sure that they use one of their old containers to keep the glass
Okay.
separate.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Thank you.
So that's going to be one thing that we are going to be doing that night. And I know a lot of the departments are, they're going to be having a competition for who's got the best booth. So we're anxious to see. I know a lot of people have got some things up their sleeves. So we're inviting folks to come out, bring your families. We're going to be feeding everybody. I think we've got a internal cook team that cooks for a lot of our city events that we do for employees. So they're going to be cooking for folks that night, sausage dogs. So everybody come out if you want to get dinner provided and answer your questions that you may have. So anything else that?
We have any gifts or anything?
Oh, we'll be giving giveaways too for a limited amount of people. That I think we'll have about 500 items to give away. So those folks will be taking home something cool by the end of the night.
Awesome.
So.
And these guys are all doing something super exciting, right? At your booths?
I think we are. We're working on it. I know we've got some displays of, all the different parts and pieces that go into a utility, and we're going to share some of that. And I think we're giving away some stuff. And, of course, we'll be there to answer any questions. Really, we do want to engage with citizens, and if they have questions or problems, and probably more problems than questions, let us see how we can resolve those issues for them and make, the service what they expect and deserve.
Yeah, all departments will be represented.
We'll have also an elected officials booth, so in case people have got concerns they want to speak to the mayor or maybe set up an appointment at a later time or date. So we'll have that option available for folks there.
And council.
Council as well. So
junior council,
and the
right?
junior city council, I believe, will be there too, talking about what projects they've got going on. So we're really excited. The police department's got some fun things up their sleeve. So, and it's kid friendly. We've got a lot of our utilities that have kind of some public safety and fun things for the kids to do. So it's not just a stuffy presentation. So we're inviting everybody to come out and bring your families. So.
Paige, I know in the last committee meeting I was in, it was a bike ped committee, and they were asking about the fact that they needed to advertise, that they need more people to sign up. So one of the booths, I believe it'll be over with the council? Would it be with the
Yes, we're going to
council?
have, I think City Clerk Lisa Hanks will be having a booth set up. So with all the openings of any committees that we've got opening, or if you want to fill out an application, and if anything comes available, we can contact you if there's a particular board or committee that you want to be on.
And jobs too, is HR doing anything?
Yes,
for-
HR will have a booth there with all of our openings. They can show you how to fill out an application or have your application on hand in case a job does come open at a later time. So we've got that option now. So, yeah.
And just because they're my special projects, both the Quail Creek Golf Club and the Marina will have their own booths outside of the Parks and Rec Department.
Absolutely.
And I know the guys are planning some fun things as well.
Tom's not here with us, but I think Rec is also going to launch, are they doing Scale Back?
Yes, Scale Back
competition,
Alabama
right.
competition, and that's a statewide competition. And the Fairhope Rec Center is a weigh-in point for that. So I think residents can sign up for that. We also have internally, we've got city employees that compete against each other for that too. So it's always fun.
We're going to put your weight up on the screen.
Yeah, we're going to
While you're-
broadcast
No, we're
it
not
during
doing
council
that.
meeting.
We're not doing that.
Thinking about participating.
We're not doing that.
But again, just be when where?
This is going to be on January the 24th, which is a week from this Thursday, from 5 to 7 at the Fairhope Civic Center. So, like I said, we'll have a short little presentation at the very beginning, and then it'll be kind of come and go, and you'll be able to meander around the room and speak to whichever department, suits you, or if you've got, like I said, interests or questions with certain folks. You'll be able to do so. So we're excited, and we're going to kind of add to it every year, and so I think this format will work out great. I think we've got a lot of folks in our community that are very passionate about specific things. So this will give them an opportunity to kind of have a one-on-one conversation when they may not be able to at a committee meeting or at a council meeting. So
That's great. Super. Should be fun,
Mhm.
as well as informative and family friendly.
that's right.
But yes,
Yeah,
bring your
super.
families, bring kids.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're
Paige.
welcome.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
All right, directors, let's go around, start with you, Eric.
Just give some updates. I get a lot of questions, folks call wanting to know what's going on, what's this project, what's that project. So kind of give a rundown of some of the things that we have going on. We're in the process of issuing a permit for what is called the Graceway Apartments over there. It's directly across from Fairhope Intermediate School, right there just north of the intersection of Edwards and Bishop. There's already one apartment building there. They're going to be building 2 more right to the north. They also own that property adjacent to it on the north side. They're going to have 2 buildings, I think it's 48 units, and a clubhouse. So we're working with the builder on that to get that issued, hopefully, probably by the end of this week, maybe middle of next week. There is going to be a new doctor's office, I think it's Eastern Shore Chiropractic, that's going to be built on just north of the gas station at the intersection of US 98 and Parker Road. It's actually in the county, but we issue permits in that area. It's just north of that gas station on the corner by Publix. There's a little area there where there's some businesses. They've got a parcel within that, so they're going to be building a new doctor's office there. I hesitate to say, but we have a new bank coming to town.
How many does that make?
I
At this
have
point, do we know?
the last I heard, I think it's like 25.
Okay.
Whitney Bank is going to renovate the existing building that is directly across the street from the post office. It's a metal building there. It had kind of a cell repair shop and a little photography guy there. It's actually right on that same lot where the CrossFit was in the old, what I guess they call it the old muffler shop. So they're going to be renovating that. I've got those plans. They're looking to probably obtain that permit this week so that they can start renovation there. It's not going to have a drive-through, but they're going to completely redo the facade. It's going to be stuccoed. They're building their bank building within that area. Want to and I know they're going to receive door hangers, but let the folks in Quail Creek know that we had a pre-construction meeting last week with AT&T, and they here, I think they had said right after February 1st or something like that, they're going to start running fiber. AT&T is going to run fiber throughout the entire subdivision. So they're going to be working in a lot of areas, pretty much the entire subdivision. So one of the things that they are going to do is they're going to have signage. They're going to have signs out as people driving through, kind of let them know this work's going on. And they're going to put door hangers and notices on the folks' door to let them know that they're working. One thing we want to make sure that residents understand is from their property line into their house, generally, about the first 10 feet, there is a utility easement, and it is on the owner's property, but it is a utility easement to be used for utilities. AT&T and the telecom companies like to be in that utility easement because down in the right-of-way, we have gas, electric, water, sewer, all these other things. So, technically, they will be working somewhat into the owner's yards. Now, they are also required to fully repair anything they do, and they've done this project in Rock Creek.
Yes, and they did a beautiful job.
They
I was
did,
going to
yes.
say, Quail
Yeah.
Creek residents should not be at all concerned, because
Yeah.
by the time they left our front yards, as they worked their way around Rock Creek, you could not tell they had been there.
And they even went to the point of matching whatever kind of grass the owners had, because we had folks that said, well, they planted this and I had zoysia, so they came back and they put zoysia down. They will take care of these owners.
They do a good job.
And they did. And the last thing, I'll give a couple of updates because I get this question all the time. We still have not received any construction prints yet for the build-out at either the old Hardee's or the Rite Aid.
Okay.
I know they have demolition permits issued because there's some internal demo going on in both those buildings, but they have not submitted anything for the rebuild yet. I kind of hesitate to say what they're going to be until I get them, because I know we had heard forever it was going to be a Starbucks at Hardee's, and now it sounds like it's going to be a restaurant. So, until we get them, I don't know for sure. They're also doing some demolition work here at the old Fairhope Hardware. They're exposing that facade and the windows that were back behind there. They have not submitted yet for the rebuild. We have a kind of an idea. We've met with the architect, so we know what they have planned, but they have not submitted anything formal yet.
Okay.
And we have not received any construction plans for the Aldi building. I don't know what that time frame is. What we have is a site plan with utilities and building locations. I don't know where that's at. I know they're meeting with different departments or kind of putting their ideas together, but that's still kind of in a holding pattern. We hadn't had anything happen with that yet.
I know everybody's anxious to have Aldi get in
Yeah,
there.
I don't know.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, and one last thing for the folks in the Woodlands and some parts, maybe part of Rock Creek, they should have received notifications on their doors. They have started scheduling the concrete pours for the apartments at the retreat at Fly Creek. Each pour is somewhere between 35 and 40,000 square feet, and each building will have 2 pours. In order to work that much concrete, they're going to start, and we've coordinated with the police department and everyone else, they're going to start those pours somewhere between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, because by the time they place the concrete, then they've got to work it, float it, and they'll be working on that until probably 6, 7 o'clock that night.
Okay.
So just so they know, and we did require them to put notifications on the doors of the houses most likely to be affected by any noise. We also told them to keep it down to a bare minimum on their noise, but they are going to have lights. They're going to have portable lights. They're going to have concrete pump trucks out there. There's going to be a lot of traffic, and they're going to have the backup sign, but it's one of those things that we have to do. It's either start early in the morning and work till the late evening, or start at 7 o'clock and they'll be out there till midnight. So, the early morning is typically what they would prefer to do.
Okay,
Okay?
very good. Thank you. RJ?
Yes, a couple of just things going on in Public Works that are kind of coming our way that we're excited about. Some have been in the process for a long time. We have 2 Transportation Alternative Program grants out there for sidewalks that have finally gotten through the LPA process, and we've got one little right-of-way issue that we think we've got resolved, and so hopefully we're going to be able to get those projects out for bid. But that's the sidewalk on County Road 13 that runs from Sedgefield all the way down to the Manley Road Soccer Complex And then 2 segments of sidewalks, one on Manley Road there from Greeno through to the middle school and connects to the sidewalk that ends at the Founders subdivision there, as well as a section of sidewalk on Twin Beach that connects Greeno heading back to the east to it, picks up the sidewalk there. So we're excited about those. Just a lot of steps have to go through for those federal grants to work. We did get confirmation that survey was being ordered by the design professional on the alley improvement transit hub projects, and they are working on dates for the first of public involvements in that meeting. So that is starting to become a reality. The engineer did confirm that we have pre-construction meetings set for the last working day of this month for our Rock Creek Stream Restoration Project. So that will start in earnest in February, and that's been a long time coming. North Beach bathroom, it is moving along. Unfortunately, one of the 3 doors sent was the wrong directional of being hung, so and those were one of the long lead items on that project, so hopefully the manufacturer's going to step up. It was the manufacturer's mistake. Everything was ordered correctly. They just shipped a backwards door. So we're hopefully going to, we're still on schedule there. Our goal is to have that bathroom opening and functioning and then be able to go remodel the other bathroom. And by the end of March, when the season where people want to really start using that park, those bathrooms will be all refurbished and ADA compliant. So we're excited about that. And, in the works are still the highway safety improvement project for Roundabout at North Section Street. We think we've gotten everything there. We're just waiting on project authorization. And on tonight's agenda, you'll see a intergovernmental service agreement with Baldwin County Commission for a roundabout at Twin Beach and County Road 13. So we are becoming the city of roundabouts. And I love this kind of public works project because all our level of commitment for that new roundabout at 13 and Twin Beach is they're asking us to commit to providing the lighting for the roundabout and do the landscaping, which is our specialty. So, so a lot of great improvements to our infrastructure and just keep moving forward in public works.
Super, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Wayne, what's up in planning?
Planning's been busy. We had a pretty full agenda for the Planning Commission meeting, lots of annexations and rezonings, and so we went through those, and staff did a great job presenting those and reviewing those in concert with the comprehensive plan to make sure they meet the visions of Fairhope. So we're working on that. Also been doing some research. As you all know, we have a Greeno Road moratorium. Greeno Road's very important to us. We had a visual preference survey that we are looking at, and so we are also doing some research on how to better manage Greeno Road. So we're looking at that, and hopefully within short term we'll have something to present to the council and the Planning Commission. Also, the Planning Commission, we've been looking at revised open space standards for developments. And make the open space context sensitive to where the development is. For example, in more of a suburban development near town, we want to encourage more of a park where homes front the green space, and then more of the areas that are further outside of town have more of a parkland type open space. That's just an example of some of the context sensitive planning we want to try to encourage in some of these open space. And also we've revised how that open space is calculated in the amount that's required. So that's going to be I think a big improvement. And so you'll have hopefully the result we are trying to achieve is have open space that's much more usable and much more context appropriate for the particular development. Again, we've got a full agenda for the Board of Adjustments as well. We have a lot of activity going on. Unfortunately, our Board of Adjustments meeting coincides with the State of the City Expo, and so we'll be in both places here and in the Civic Center, so we'll be kind of splitting time. So hate that happened. That's how it worked out, though. So, but anyway, again, it's been busy. We're moving along, and staff's done a great job with carrying projects forward and reviewing those projects very carefully and very diligently. Each project gets a very, very thorough review, and I feel very good about the direction that has been going. We are ensuring that every ordinance is being followed, and everything's getting scrutinized. And I think that's what we want. We want to make sure that we have good development, and by being very, very thoughtful and very studious to that, I think we're achieving those goals. So other than that, we're doing good. Thanks.
Nothing going on.
Yeah, we're trying anyway to be concerned about it. And the question keeps coming up with the Planning Commission is about the condition of the infrastructure, and in particular wastewater, and we're looking at how to continue to manage the growth that we have and still look at trying to do some rehabilitation work on the older infrastructure that really we don't have a lot of growth coming to the older infrastructure, but it creates a lot of our problems during rain events. Of course, we've got transmission upgrades under contract now for both Church Street and then the Fairhope Avenue transmission system, and that's about 2/3 of our entire wastewater system that funnels through those two locations. But in order to try to maintain both the growth and the rehabilitation effort, which is going to be a long process. It takes a long time to identify and look at problems with the older infrastructure. But we are looking at doing some side stream storage capabilities that can give us a little bit more than just being able to store a little bit of wastewater to keep, some of the capacities down and mitigate any kind of overflows in different places. One of the things about the inflow to the plant, even if you're not reporting any overflows, but you have a significant inflow to the plant, it does affect a little bit of the treatment process. So if we can back some of that up and manage those peaks, we can do better with some storage for total water quality, which would be treatment and transmission. And then if we have issues with any of these major lift stations that we're working with down the road, we got a place to back water up, as to give us some extra time to do the maintenance on these lift stations. So when you start looking around at all the different options you have in terms of trying to do side stream storage or trying to do additional work to complete rehabilitation work quicker, this particular concept makes a lot of sense. So we're going to start trying to work on that in more earnest here, within the next couple of months. Other than that, AT&T, I think, and you may be familiar with the cell phone companies trying to get permits for reinstalling the antennas on the tank.
Correct, yeah, and I cannot remember which one. It might have been Sprint, I don't know. I don't think was it AT&T that had emailed you?
AT&T was going to mobilize Thursday.
Okay, yes. I've received one application for reinstallation of cell nodes back on the Fairhope Avenue water tower. I will say, too, though, we've had, over the course of the last 6 months, we've probably had a half a dozen permits issued for other towers. There's one on Twin Beach Road south of Section Street that someone co-located on. There's also one up where I mentioned where this doctor's office is going up in Montrose. There's a tower there. There's one out near Three Circles Church. And there was one, I believe, on the Nichols water tower here in the last 6 months.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with them changing some of their equipment out.
Right.
And, as technology advances, different types of antennas and I think they go from coax to fiber in some cases.
Right.
And that's been one of the actual delays with trying to get some of the equipment back on the tank at Fairhope Avenue. They're looking at different types of antennas and not putting back exactly what they had up there to start with. But it's been, the contractors released the cell phone companies back middle of December to start making their arrangements. And like everything, it just takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah.
But if anybody has any questions, they call the phone their service provider, not the city.
And just so you know, I mean, I've told Richard, we're turning around any applications we have for cell providers to get back on those towers. They'll be turned around in 48 hours. The only thing we have to check two things. We have to check their paperwork for the structural side, because they have to meet certain wind loading. We want it to make sure it's not going to come flying off the tank in a hurricane.
Yep.
And we have to verify, we're delegated by the state to verify licensing, to make sure that they are a state licensed general contractor and they have a city license. Really, if those two items check out, we turn those permits around generally in a day,
Great.
if not two.
Great, super.
And we have two projects that are at a stage where we're giving the contractor the notice to proceed. The first one that will be fairly immediate will be the repair of the outfall line in the bay. They've submitted the submittal this afternoon on the type of repair clamp they're going to use for that. And then we're talking with the electrical contractor on the marina, and there is a pretty significant lead time. We talked about fiberglass doors having a lead time. Well, there's some of the electrical equipment may be 8 to 12 weeks out. So we're trying to get everything we can at
Okay.
least started to where they can be prepared to
Because we'll have a
put
big
that-
coordination job down there
It'll
once
be-
we start the ball.
Yes, it'll be pretty significant, the work they'll be doing out there, but they're just setting it up so that when the equipment comes, they'll be able to try to get that done
Super.
fairly quickly, but
Fabulous.
it's just a pretty big project,
Yeah,
and
it is.
but we're making progress on it, and it's going well, you know, it's just, nothing comes with, you know, everything, it takes longer than you think it should take, and everybody wants more than what sometimes we're able to offer, and that's, you know, that's how
That's the way
it
it goes,
goes. And
yeah.
but we try hard, and we care about what we're doing, and
I know you do. It's a new year, we have new opportunities.
absolutely.
All right, super. Sherry Lee?
Yes. Last but not least, there's a
Absolutely.
federal shutdown, which has actually impacted us locally. So three things that we're working on, actually. We were supposed to kick off the Park Service project with the National Park Service last week, and that didn't happen. Because of the shutdown, we have the Treasury, who is reviewing our grant applications for Restore. So they're closed. So that's kind of a problem. But I will say on our end that we had a Restore Council meeting last week, and that's not going to hold us up because where we are in the process is we're submitting more detailed proposal, answering more questions for Treasury. And so we're gathering that right now. But it will slow us down if they don't open up soon. And the third thing is really more, it's EDA, the K1 project. So that whole grant process is just shut down too. EDA is closed. So that's slowing that down. So those three things have just kind of slowed those three projects to some degree. And I'm not sure, Richard, if FTA, if this is going to impact any of our roundabout or our alley project. Probably not the alley, but maybe the roundabout.
I think the good news is, I think the DOT or the federal DOT is exempt. I don't think they get hit by that. But the good news, at least on the alley project, is we have authorization.
Right.
Where it may, if this is a prolonged thing, we may not get reimbursed in a
Right.
timely
We
manner.
hope it's not that long.
It doesn't mean we can't proceed.
Right.
So,
So we're still kicking it off regardless.
now, the highway safety improvement, I don't know. I did find out that we had been trying to get a hold of NRCS, Natural Resources Conservation Service, and at least they are meeting us tomorrow at 9 to look at additional erosion problem. So apparently they're working. So I'm not sure how the different agencies are delegated as being part of the partial shutdown or not.
Right.
But it's a little hit or miss right now.
It is, it is.
Okay.
Well, I mean, mostly in our department, I mean, obviously you heard Paige talk about state of the city, and that's a big thing. We're going to look at doing some community charrettes, some outreach on K1 to get some community input about what the citizens would also like to see in addition to Hatch or other ideas for that property. So
Do you have any timeline on the
we-
charrettes?
we're looking to start holding them within the next month
Okay.
to 6 weeks. It's going to be a 3-week process. That's what it's looking like. And, planning will be a big part of that. But it's literally to get community input on that property and what would you like to see there and just hear from citizens. It's not for developers or people outside. It's really for people that live here to have a time to express their thoughts. And we'll take notes and share that publicly. And then other than that, I mean, Richard, all the projects are moving forward. So we're very busy
Great.
doing the work. It takes, as long as it takes, 18 months, 2 years to get the grants and move everything, step by step. But that's what it takes to get them going. And now they're all taking off. So
Super.
busy with that.
Okay. Anything else from anybody?
I will say we are going to start our gas leak survey, and there will be some off-road vehicles, that will be with flashing lights, and they'll be in subdivisions. So
Okay.
if there's anybody that questions what they may be doing, they should have a placard on the side of their vehicle.
Okay.
And it should be obvious, and there'll be one person from our our department with them.
Okay.
In case, but that's what that will be, it'll be a gas, it'll be a leak survey for the gas.
Okay.
And Richard just reminded me, there'll also be people driving around who are with a film production, a feature film that'll be filmed at Fairhope in February throughout February and March. So speaking of people driving around, their vehicles will not be marked, but our police department does know that they're here, and if they get calls, dispatch knows, who they are.
Like auditions with local people?
They will be doing,
Extras.
yeah, they'll be doing some calls for extras and things like that. Yeah, and so we will put it out through the city. We're hoping, and I hate to say, I told them, I met with them today, and I don't want to speak for them because, the script can always change, but there are right now opportunities for school kids to come out and do a scene at a park and things like that. So it'll be really fun. But they'll be here at the work session, and we'll talk about it there.
Super. Okay, then I encourage everybody to come back and join us at 4:30 for the work session and find out more about Fairhope and films. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.